Hi, this is Mark Salamango here to teach you how to make Costco protein pancakes. These are pancakes that I have a couple times a week, either for breakfast or for a snack. They're delicious and they're easy to make. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to grab a bowl that's got a little bit of a lip on it. That'll make it easier to pour the batter. Next, we're going to take a banana. We're going to peel the banana, throw it in the bowl, and then we're going to mash it with a fork. I try to get the major chunks down as much as possible. Doesn't have to be pretty. And once you got it mashed up pretty good, you can just stir it a bit, get rid of the other big chunks. At this point, I usually start up the stove. We want the griddle to be nice and hot when we're ready to pour the batter into it or onto it. Next, we're going to grab some eggs. Again, got these from Costco as well. So we're going to put 4 in there. You don't necessarily need to use all 4 if you don't want to. I've made it with 3. It just makes a thicker batter. And pretty much everything in this recipe, you can tweak it as you want. If you want more blueberries, put more blueberries in. If you want less, if you want fewer, put fewer in. All right, so now that we've thrown our eggs in, we'll set these aside and we are going to mix some more. All right, that's looking pretty good. All right, so now we're going to use a tablespoon of almond butter, but be careful. Almond butter usually has some oil that settles on the top, and if it's full, like mine was, you may get a little extra oil in there. It's basically a tablespoon. Again, this is another one of those things you can put more in, you can put less in, depending on how you feel about almond butter. I like it. All right, so almond butter is a little tricky sometimes too because it'll clump up, and so you got to kind of smash that with the fork. Once I've done this for a little bit, I will usually go and grab my spatula and kind of clean up the edges and do a little bit more stirring. All right, so we got our spatula here and we're just going to scrape the edges. We're going to scrape some of the almond butter off the fork. Discard the fork and just continue to stir a little bit. All right, we'll set that aside and move on to the next piece. So I'm going to open up my chia seeds here and my almond flour. I usually put the almond flour in a little Tupperware container. We're going to just use a tablespoon of that. Again, this was purchased at Costco. Some Costcos may not have it. Ours just got it recently. And then I'm actually going to put something else in. This I did not get from Costco, but I love it. I'll put a link to where I got it in the description. They're just cacao nibs. It'll give it a nice crunchy texture to the pancakes. And I love dark chocolate. They're great. You don't want to really eat them by themselves. We'll put in a half tablespoon of chia seeds as well. And now we're ready to stir again. All right, it's looking pretty good. All right, now we're going to add some protein. I'm going to add 2 scoops. I have the chocolate here. If you like chocolate protein pancakes, it's perfect. This particular brand now has other flavors as well. I haven't tried them yet. I use a couple different kinds of protein, and this one just works good for the pancakes. A lot of times I'll have raw pancake or raw protein, and I will add cacao powder and stevia to make my own so that I'm not getting any extra stuff that I don't really want. All right, so we're just going to make sure that we get this mixed well. And once this is ready, we're just going to dump the final ingredient in the blueberries. We don't put them in the beginning because we don't want them to be all squished. All right, so we'll dump the blueberries in and do our final stir before we start pouring onto the griddle. So depending on the size of the banana and how much you put of the other ingredients in, your batter may be a little thicker, maybe a little thinner. I haven't made a bad pancake yet. I love these things. So I'm going to throw a little bit of coconut oil on. I use either the coconut oil or the butter. I kind of use them interchangeably. I love them both. They're both good for you. They're both healthy fats. All right, so now I'm going to pour. I usually do 4 at a time, so that's what I'm going to do here. And this doesn't have to be pretty. In fact, it probably won't be. If you drip a little, it's okay. Then usually I wait about 40 seconds. It could vary based on the heat of the griddle. What you're looking for is little bubbles to pop up. Usually that's my signal that it's time to flip them. You may want to just test it a little bit to see if it's starting to solidify a little bit. But usually the bubbles are the telltale sign that it's time to flip. I usually smash it a little bit just because these have a little different consistency than typical pancakes. Okay, so this one's starting to look ready. Starting to see some bubbles coming to the top. And we're going to go for it. All right, I smash them a little bit sometimes in case there's some juice that wants to come out. And you can tell when they're done, they just have a nice rigid feel to them. So really that's it. You're going to take these off, you're going to put some new ones on, and you're going to admire your handiwork.